5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow is deployed. Full course yellow is deployed.
Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Full Course Yellow in Pit Lane's weekly get-together, where we just sit around and have a bit of a chat about the wonderful world of motorsport in Pit Lane, as previously seen over 28 years on Channel 31 Melbourne, now seen in memory only, apart from coming soon to, in a form, to the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. Yes, we're not sort of going away completely. We are going to sort of hang around, but we're going to move basically everything online because, well, that's the way most people consume their media nowadays. And also, it's a hell of a lot cheaper and doesn't take 20 to 25 people every week, or however many it is that we do need to do it properly. Hopefully, we will be doing something on Channel 31 next year. They've certainly asked us to come back and do some stuff. It just won't be... It won't be in Pit Lane. It won't be related to motorsport. But who knows? Who knows what we might do? We don't know ourselves yet. We haven't figured it out. We've got an idea. Got a bit of an idea. We'll let you know. But anyway, so joining us tonight on the program, we're going to talk all things motorsport, and joining me to do just that, we have Richard Outram, fresh from the Bathurst Challenge. We've got Peter Johnson, fresh from the final edition of In Pit Lane, and also from the final edition of In Pit Lane, my co-host, Mr. Craig Doc Gladigo. G'day, guys. How are we?
Good evening, Brett. How are you, fellas?
Good evening.
Yep, good. They were both on mute.
Mute. Yeah, I know.
We're all on mute. We're all on mute. Yes. So yes, anyway, so welcome to everybody. There we are. This is hello to Box once again. 28 longer than Graham, Don, and Bert. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I had a look. Someone said, you were going as long as Hey Hey It's Saturday, and I checked, and we were actually gone longer than Hey Hey It's Saturday. There's very few shows that actually have gone 28 years. There are some Channel 31 shows that have gone longer than us. There's a couple there. I think Melbourne Musos and the local footy show, which also wound up at the end of this year. They had been going about roughly the same time, but longer on Channel 31. Because remember, we did the first 3 years on the now defunct Optus pay TV service.
Just thank you, Box. The last part says to the crew, sponsors, thank you, all that sort of stuff. I do take exception to the part that says Bert. Is he referring to Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street, or is he?
Yes, Bert.
He's talking about
Bert
Moonface.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
I think he's talking to there.
Because Bert and Ernie are still going. Evening in Ackers.
Yeah, how are you? Welcome to you. So yes, welcome to everybody who's watching us at the moment. But yeah, I mean, the plan at this stage is we'll be going through with this program through until the end of the Formula One season, which, as I've had a look at I've had a quick look at the calendar, and it just happens that the Formula One season, the Thursday after that, is the last one before the In Pit Lane wrap party. So that works out very, very well. Thank you very much. Incidentally, thank you to everybody who supported our GoFundMe for the wrap party. As I was sort of saying, as we'll introduce Mark Jones as well, all the way from Queensland. G'day, Mark.
Good evening, gents. How are we all?
Yes,
how are you, buddy?
We're not too bad. What's the weather doing like? Have you got the traditional afternoon storms?
No, we've stolen his weather. What's he got? We've stolen it down here. We've got epic weather down here.
Yeah, it's humid and 27 today. So
that's about what it was here.
Yeah, sort of summer at Phillip Island, I guess.
Mm.
Yes, it was. It's going to be a pretty crazy summer, I think, too. It's got all the hallmarks. All the hallmarks have been pretty wild and crazy. So there you go. Didn't outlast The Simpsons. No, I don't think anything will ever outlast The Simpsons. I'm certainly not going to. But the thing is, it's funny. I mean, The Simpsons haven't sort of aged a day since.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Nothing like us.
Yeah,
they're still using the same jokes they came up with 28 years ago.
Yeah.
So are we.
That's point.
See more butts.
So it was Bert Newton, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Bert kept going for a long time, and in terms of his, but
I like the boy.
I like the boy. Yeah, that got him into all sorts of trouble, didn't it? Yeah, but anyway, let's stop talking about ourselves, and to as much as we could do that forever, of course. Let's talk instead about motorsport. I put forward in the thumbnail for this particular program the idea that Daniel Ricciardo does the Cadillac Formula One team throw out a lifeline to Daniel Ricciardo's Formula One career, and the reason that I'm saying that, and Jared Crabbs, he's piped in, basically thinking exactly what I'm thinking is. They're looking for two drivers. They've already said that one of the drivers will be a young American driver, but they're looking for an experienced Formula One driver to help them develop the new car, to help them develop the new team, to basically someone who is like an old hand at this sort of thing. Now, as Jared is saying, with US sponsors, we know how popular Danny Rick is in the United States. He'd be a great boost in terms of there's a strange connection in the fact that for the first year at least, until the new regulations come in, the Cadillac will in fact be powered by Ferrari, which is really weird. So, but there is a sort of so there's a connection. A bit of a connection there. I mean, I don't think Ferrari would be too upset of having sort of the Italian background of Daniel Ricciardo in the team. So what does everybody think? Does Pete? I mean, let's start with you. What do you think? Danny Rick a chance at Cadillac?
I don't think so, because even though Andretti's not running the day-to-day operation, he's still there, and with his association with Wilkinshaw, or the association with Wilkinshaw Andretti United, even though McLaren and Cadillac would be separate teams, he would still, I think, there would still be a bit of, I don't know on what terms Daniel and Zach Brown left on, but I think that would be a factor.
It seemed to be pretty good. I mean, Zach has come out and sort of said that. He's still very good friends with Daniel. He's still, he would have liked Daniel to have stayed around in some form or another. But
he wanted him to be in the IndyCar team.
Yeah, that's it, and then for all those, and for the very same reasons, he is just massively popular in the United States, to the point where the race at COTA, the Grand Prix there, I mean, the organisers of COTA wanted him there. Apparently, his face was still all over Las Vegas, even though he wasn't there, and obviously wasn't racing. But apparently, they were sort of. So I don't know whether they put an offer out to him, but I think it was Kim Illman sort of went round and said, "There's lots of photos and lots of artists sort of illustrations featuring Danny Rick as being a part of the Grand Prix." And if he did get out of it, I mean, he's only going to, if they're starting in 26, he's only going to be out of it for sort of just over a year. It's not as if they're going back to somebody who's been out of it for 5 or 6 years.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to agree with Pete. I have from the start. No, don't put him as the two drivers. Keep him as a reserve driver, and we'll give him that title, and he can do as much promotion as he wants, and they can use him for as much promotion as he wants. I agree with Pete. Absolutely not. He's gone. He's finished. He's done. There is so much talent out there, young and middle-aged, that they can use. And they need an experienced person. They've already said that. They said, we need someone with substantial Formula One experience. So if not Danny Rick, who?
And Daniel sells. And that Americans are hooked right into selling.
Of course.
And his face just, they just flock to him. Even if he's up the back, even if he's there for 12 months, He brings.
I'm not
attention
saying
to the
Schumacher.
team.
I'm not saying Mazepin, but there are plenty of others out there that have got experience.
It
but
won't be
not as the
Mazepin,
two
that's for
main-
sure.
That's true, but they
it's a
don't have
joke.
the universal.
Unless Vladimir gets on the phone to Donald.
Yes, yes.
Anywho, at least there's a ceasefire there. However, put him as the backup driver, and then they can use him for everything, and he can do whatever he wants as well too. But there's two. I agree with Pete.
I think the only answer that they will be looking at is someone who has a seat for 2025.
Yeah,
if it's 2026, you're going to do it. You'd use Alonso. Take Alonso. That's his retirement.
Oh, well, I mean, like how old will Alonso is? He's old enough already.
He'll get more money staying at Aston Martin.
Race a Formula One car.
Let's see how Lewis goes for 12 months at Ferrari.
Well, it won't be Lewis.
I think it'll be someone who's got a drive, not already in season 2025, not someone who doesn't.
Maybe an Esteban Ocon or
he doesn't want to be a reserve driver.
Yeah, he won't be a reserve. There's no point in him becoming. I mean, if he's going to come back, he's got to come back to an actual race seat. Otherwise, there's no point in him coming back. He could have stayed at Red Bull. I mean, as a reserve driver. I mean, apparently the offer was out there somewhere along the track to be there, and so he got there. I think he's a real chance, and I think for that year. The problem is they've got two problems in what they want to do. Everyone's saying Colton Herta is the guy that they want. Well, Colton Herta still doesn't have the super license points. They've got to find a way of getting him those, or the FIA have got to give him a special dispensation, which they're probably more likely to do now that it's sort of been granted. But they've sort of said that, this is the formula they want. We said, we want a young American driver, and we want an experienced hand in Formula One to help us develop the car, develop the team, and help us develop our young American driver. And I don't know who else would fit that. Apart from Daniel. Yeah, we know he gives great feedback because that's what Renault's, Alpine said it, Red Bull said it, everybody, McLaren said it. They all said. He's great in testing. He gives fabulous feedback. He's great publicity. He's terrific with the media, especially in America. They just absolutely love him there. And in terms of the redemption story, it's like Cadillac is coming to Formula One, and guess who's coming with us? G'day, guys. Yeah,
and if you don't have Beyonce to get the media attention, use Danny Rick.
Kevin Magnussen is 3 years younger than Daniel Ricciardo, still retiring this year and still in better form than Daniel was before he's left. And get him and then pick an F2 driver that's up and coming. Look how many of the F2 drivers in the last 18 months have had testing seats, have had free practice seats, have had to fill in through injury, have had their scheduled free practice runs.
Yeah, but he needs to be an American.
And look at in the end of it, they'll change the rules. Whatever, it doesn't need to be an American. I reckon that if the person
General Motors have said that this is they have guaranteed. This was one of their selling points that we will introduce. Eventually, they're saying that they want an all-American team, but they're saying initially we want an experienced Formula One driver to set up the team and a young American. Now, as I said, everybody's saying Colton Herta. But he doesn't have obviously Logan Sargent was he's obviously got the super license points, but I mean look at his record. I mean the young kid who won the Macau Grand Prix is still is probably 4 to 5 years away if he's got the talent. He's sort of probably 4 or 5 years away. So in the meantime, who do they get for their young American if they can't?
They might
get
change their mind. They might change their mind and say,
I don't think so.
I think they will.
They'll be desperate for an American
corporation. And I don't think they'll have Kevin Magnussen because I think he's a poison chalice.
I'm just throwing that out as a name that's 3 years younger. That's still, just an example of I could throw bloody Harry Butler's name out there. But I'm just saying, for example, you look at if you limited options at the moment, except for the wonderful young talent that's coming through, but hasn't got the nationality underneath it that they particularly want. I think they'll have to change their mind or have to compromise, and I think they'll do press conferences and put a bit of spin on it and saying, look, we just can't get that American person yet. It's just not cherry ripe for that spot yet, but maybe in the next year or two when we develop this person, we have this program going and this person will get, then we've got these development things coming along and these are reserve drivers and we're supporting this category and you watch, they'll just spin it.
Well, let's see. But it's certainly going to be interesting to see who they do pick. I mean, apart from Colton Herter, I haven't heard too many people. Alex Pillow's name has been mentioned as well, as terms of and obviously he has done some free practice testing, some Formula One stuff. But yeah, I mean they have said very firmly that we are committed to developing young American talent, and we will have for our first driving there will be an experienced Formula One driver and a young American. So
I think you're right, Colton Herter. They'll give dispensation because Liberty Media is pushing for more American Grand Prix. And a more American influence with it. So I think you're right.
And it almost mirrors the Formula One movie that's coming out next year as well.
I was going to say, Sylvester.
I suppose Daniel is still younger than Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, like I think I'm younger than Brad Pitt.
You see how many? Do you see how many fake cars they've made for the movie, so that they don't have to use the actual?
That was for Senna. That was for Senna.
Yeah.
For the
Did you see that one? Yeah.
Which actually looks. I tell you what. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that. The casting for that is. The casting for that is phenomenal. As soon as you see, some of the scenes, you just go, "Oh my God, that is Alain Prost, and they're lookalikes." And if the acting is any good in it, I think it's got a bit
the airbrushing's working.
Yeah, I mean whatever they've done, but it looks really interesting. But the story, it's a bit like the Le Mans, the Steve McQueen's Le Mans film. It's going to be one of those things where perhaps the racing stuff could well be brilliant, but essentially it's a soap opera because it's the focus is the loves and lives of the woman he loved, and it is not another woman. My other woman is Formula One.
So they're doing a remake of Dallas.
Yeah.
I could see Bernie Eccleston if they cut me off at the knees.
Instead of oil tycoons, it's going to be Formula One cars. So it's a remake of Dallas.
Speaking of Bernie Eccleston, did you catch Martin Brundle's pit walk at Las Vegas?
Yeah.
I missed it. I tuned in late.
What
Who brushed him?
What was he saying? I didn't pick up on what he said.
Which one of the two made the most outrageous statement?
No, there was just some guy. The place was packed, and it's like, if there's anywhere to see celebrities, it's going to be here. And there was nobody, at least nobody that Martin knew. And there was this guy, this obviously this PR guy, who was being very forceful and going, Peter Eccleston, Bernie Eccleston's daughter is just over here. Do you want to talk to that? And Martin's going, no, I don't want to. Get in there. But she's over here. And no. And he'd go around. I can't find anybody. We might have to go back to you. Eventually found Sylvester Stallone, who looked absolutely, totally out of it.
That's his normal. That's his normal talking. How he got worse than that?
He looked
full on. I can imagine. Quick line, while we're on the subject of those.
As long as he didn't mention Adrian, then that's okay.
Mind you. Quick question. What's the rumour going on about, before we move on, about Brundle and bloody Crofty leaving because Hilly's gone, or is it just clickbait?
David Hill's gone, but all the other stuff is just clickbait.
It's clickbait, is it? Because I saw a headline sometime, and I didn't clickbait it. that something about Crofty and Brundle are also walking, or they're going to kick him one or
Johnny
the other.
Herbert is speculating. Johnny Herbert is speculating that they'll be next, but I think it's just clickbait.
Yeah.
Right,
now, I've had a bit of a think about the whole Cadillac situation. You know what springs to mind to me now about who their senior guy to help set up the team is Sergio Perez, with the way that employment at Red Bull is an exercise in walking on treacle.
And he would also be like a very popular choice, particularly in the southern part of America, and obviously very much with the Mexican contingent. So yeah, he would be another one who I think would be very appealing to the marketers.
And his money and his bloody wage be paid by bloody damn oil money anyway, so they wouldn't have to pay him.
Well, it's more telecommunications that's the money that's keeping Sergio in the game at the moment. The other thing that could be interesting is like, what is the future for Liam Lawson, because he hasn't exactly set the world on fire, and he's made a few sort of comments here and there that's got a few people sort of a bit going, he needs to. He's not as good as we thought he might be, and perhaps he's certainly not as good as he thinks he is.
Well, he's always been very good at blowing his own tyres up. However, give it a couple of weeks and let him settle in. Give him a pre-season, and probably to be reasonably without getting caught up in this whole circus of week by week headlines. Maybe a quarter or a third of into next year's season, not just 2 races. Get it because one's a DNF because someone takes him out, and the other one he has a mechanical failure. Maybe get a quarter or a third into the season and make a proper assessment of his then, not just how he's been. He has been obviously grafted back in, but he's still learning and still getting a feel for things. And he has outdone Yuki on a couple of occasions, but Yuki's also coming out very forcefully with his language and saying, well, I basically I ran bloody Daniel into the ground, and I'm going to do exactly the same to Liam. And that's some of the quotes that are coming out from Yuki as well, being a very immature little fellow like he can be at times. I saw it myself firsthand, him being a bloody absolute twat down at Melbourne Grand Prix. In my own eyes, he did something silly down there. I saw him do. And but anyway, so yeah, I reckon make a fair assessment by not getting caught up in the circus of the whole affair.
Jimmy's saying that Natalie Pinkham has gone as well.
There you go.
You heard anything?
I heard it, but I only heard it once. I didn't hear it consistently.
Yeah, I haven't seen it sort of put down anywhere, but I mean it could be. I mean she's been around for a while and she's been very good. I mean God knows, please don't stop doing things with Danica Patrick.
Oh yes.
Oh.
It's just cannon fodder. That's all it is. They've stopped. They're only doing it for it's like bad publicity. They say is all good, but it's cannon fodder at the moment.
But well, I mean that's the other option is that they're saying that perhaps in terms of Damon leaving, it could be Hill out, Ricciardo in. That's the other option.
I thought that. I thought maybe he's going to be a pundit. Because Sky Sports love him. They,
Hinchcliffe has done well this year.
They're not raving about Lewis and Lando. They're raving about Daniel.
Yeah, well, he's always been incredibly popular. I mean, everybody really sort of everybody likes the guy in the scene. I mean, he's just such a good media performer in terms of he's accessible. He's always got that smile on his face. He's got the laid back sense of humour. So I think that everybody, and even the other drivers. I mean, somebody said just recently, they said, it's the environment in the paddock has lost something since Danny Rick has gone. So they enjoyed him as well too. So.
And why doesn't anyone like Danica Patrick?
Oh,
Well, apart from the fact that that voice and that accent and the fact that she hardly set the world on fire. It's like dare I say it, and I'm going to get in trouble for this one. I mean, it reminds me of an Australian supercar commentator who, when he commentates, you'd think that he'd won sort of 23 Bathursts and half a dozen supercar championships, and I think he won one round of the North American Super Touring Series or something. But anyway,
okay, Richard,
he'll remain nameless.
Oh,
is that one who had a very ignominious finish to his career?
I will give you some United Nations type advice, Richard, after seeing enough of it. One, other than the grating, annoying, different scenarios the guys have all just mentioned about it, but everyone has an opinion on a lot of stuff, whether it be researched or well-versed. So she should probably keep some of those to herself, because everyone doesn't agree.
The lizard people.
And secondly, she does not have a good rapport with some of her peers because they don't want to work with her, and it'll probably all come out some of it they have been forthright with why they won't work with her now, and some of them will probably come out further down the track and they've kept their diplomatic mouths to themselves.
She is very austere, isn't she?
But so they're the two main reasons, other than what the guys just mentioned. She can be very grating.
Doesn't add anything.
Yeah, I always loved Nico Rosberg's work on his rare appearances in the Sky Sports. I would love to see his role expanded.
I think he likes doing his stuff from home. I've watched a bit of his home stuff. He does. Yeah. He just likes sitting in his own bloody
doesn't like to travel so much.
Rubbish room outside, looking at his bloody views, and then sitting in his sim racer there and having a chat about things. And I agree with you, Mark. I like listening to him too, but I think when he stepped away from Formula One, he's happy to add the value of it and enjoy it for what he was doing. But I think he limits himself deliberately so that way he doesn't get sick of it.
That's a good point, and that's why he retired. He'd achieved what he wanted, and he didn't feel the need to go and get a second or a third or a seventh title.
Yeah, but anyway, as Paul's saying, a quick search shows there's nothing about at the moment about her leaving online at the moment, so it may well just be another one of the either clickbait or another set of rumours. It's like you hear it all the time. It's like someone will come in and say, "Oh, so and so's been sacked," or "So and so's leaving," and it's either clickbait or someone being a bit mischievous and all the rest of it, saying all sorts of things there. So,
for months there was all sorts of things popping up on Facebook and about Danica Patrick being sacked, and that hasn't happened.
Yeah, so I think I like Karun as well. Actually, at first I thought, what the hell's he doing there? I mean, obviously to get the try and get some more of that Indian audience in there. But I think he's been very, very. I think he's been very good. I think he's very measured. I think he's very concise with his stuff. I think I like Anthony Davison's analysis as well too in terms of the law. I think he does. I think he does a very good job. But it's interesting to see if they,
he's a little on the dry side, maybe, but that's his role.
Yeah, well, that's it. He's always been like that. I mean, I know that when he sort of moved over into sports car racing, I know that John Hindhaugh sort of had not words with him, but just sort of on air actually gave him a bit of advice, sort of saying that you need to be you need to relax a bit, and you need to I mean you're not at the top end now, and you've got to be a bit more friendly and a bit more open, and to start talking to the media, and not everybody's out to get you, mate. I mean we're here to help, And so give us a hand, and we can say that about a lot of people in the sport as well. There is an attitude now with a lot of the people at all the top end. I mean, not just the drivers, but more particularly their PR people. It's just that that they see their job is to protect the drivers from the media rather than sort of work with the media to try and
they're out
get
to
a good
get you.
Response. Yeah, that's it. It's like we don't want to talk to anybody, and
It's good. This has to be scripted. This is what you're asking them, and this is how they're going to describe them, and do not variate.
Yeah, Ted's notebooks are good too. Yeah, like I mean that's what sort of it was the sort of thing that we do. Sort of like was a bit of the inspiration for sort of our live pit walks when we go around because Ted sort of like you get a good wrap of. If you haven't had time to watch the race, or even if you have, you get a really good wrap up of every single team and everything that's gone on. So and behind the scenes. So his stuff, his notebook, Ted Kravitz's stuff is really good. Sort of enjoying them as well. But we've got another race on the week. Unfortunately, I mean the Las Vegas Grand Prix was fantastic for us because the time zone was. It was perfect, but unfortunately this weekend, the next round, not as much.
Midnight, 3 a.m. for the sprint race.
That's right. They've got a sprint. What is the point? I mean, I don't like the sprint race at the best time, but what is the point now? Sort of.
There's no points.
That's a foregone conclusion, except that maybe a couple of teams might be vying for another rung on the ladder of the.
Yeah, but constructors.
Well, I suppose the constructors' title is still going to.
Very important.
Exactly. Yeah. So I suppose the sprint race points could be quite important for that, and that's certainly, I mean, that's certainly the consolation prize to some extent, because there's always this massive focus on the drivers' champion, but the teams, and particularly because with as many manufacturers are involved in it now, like they want their name up in lights as much as their driver's name.
Just made me sad, Mark. I've slightly got off F1 for a second. I remembered Lambo's leaving again.
Yeah, so, by the way, Boxes, in terms of all the media stuff, Boxes figured it all out. He sort of put two and two together and suddenly realised the truth in terms of, what's happened, after 28 years of In Pit Lane and why we've actually stopped the program. No, not that one. It's going to be that one.
We're smoking dragons.
Why? I have to apologise for not considering that you're an option, Brett.
I didn't want to say anything, but I've been found out. I'm about to get fame and fortune after all. But don't worry, I'll remember the little people when
I know.
Ramsey
broadcast.
The graphic was put up beforehand. Up to you said smoking dragon.
27 years.
What was that? What's that, Pete?
According to the ticker, In Pit Lane's actually been going for 127 years.
Well, that's what it feels like. So yeah.
It's what it looks like.
But no, I mean we had a fabulous run. It was funny. I mean, even today at the hospital, I was sitting there. I actually had a nurse come up to me and say, I haven't seen it, but why are you going off the air? My husband and I watch your show all the time. So yeah.
And then snap with the latex glove. Now, Ramsey.
Yes. Turn your head and cough.
Yes.
I wish. Would have been much more pleasant than what actually did happen to me. Anyway, let's get off that. So what have we got to look forward to in terms of the rest of the Formula One season? Max is the champion. Congratulations, Max, four times champion. I think that nobody can sort of say, it was the car. I mean, it was just he only won it because of the car. Not this year.
No.
Yeah, that's a quote of Zach Brown's that didn't age all that well.
I'll just mention
people have been
water,
saying that for years.
Water, starting from the back of the grid, absolutely toweling them all up right through in one race. That's just proof of how good he is.
Wow.
Stop. You only need watch that one race to see how good he is. Doesn't matter what car you're driving.
Yeah, no, he's clearly, he's clearly a very good driver. Whatever you think of him, sort of personally and all the rest of it, I mean, he is. He's got that sort of, that streak in him, that, win at all cost mentality, but didn't you have to? I mean, that's, Schumacher had it, Senna had it, Prost had it. Pretty much all the people who have been successful over the years have had that sort of, like win at all cost mentality. And it might not be pleasant, but at the same time, I mean, it gets success.
Oh, his personality is obviously not favourable to everyone in the world, but he has that ability. Whether some of it's obviously natural through his veins and his DNA and his genes, and he has that, as you said, that focus mentality, or if you call it a lot worse, and he's obviously work rate, whatever he does behind the scenes is obviously enhances what he does at whatever level he does it at, and he's just crazy natural ability on top. Everything, you add it all together, and he's just got it all. He's just that perfect person that's just that one cut above everyone else in the area that we're in. And he obviously was on the right pathway from the start. He's had good people, families. Well, I won't go into his dad, of course, but the people behind him. There's managers. There's all the ones that have followed him right through his young career and kept him on the right path. And he's never lost it and wants to do it, and will continue to do it for as long as he wants to.
And I think,
quickly, Pete.
I think that was one of the issues with Daniel, is that he didn't really have that killer instinct.
That was one of Helmut Marko's things against him, and it was the same with Mark Webber, and it was the same with Craig Lowndes back in the day. Yeah. He always he always used to say to Craig, "You smile all of the you lose, you smile. You got no, you should be angry." And children come up, could I have you? Yes, no, tell him, you concentrate. He was really. Oh, get out there and just win at all costs.
Yeah, people forget actually what was it back in the 90s that. Lowndesy and Jason Bright, were both identical in the path of where they were in life, and obviously their driving ability, and both went over and did the Indy Lights test at exactly the same time. So,
well, Jason was very good. Jason won races and was very, very competitive in Indy Lights, and unfortunately, like a lot of people, just basically didn't have the money to take it to the next step, and basically came back and sort of almost. And this is the thing that Mark Webber said, like in the interview one interview I did with him before he got into Formula One in his Formula Renault days, and I talked to him about the possibility of coming back and doing like a supercar thing, and he basically said and this is what happened to Jason. He said once you get behind the wheel of one of those things and you drive at Bathurst or Sandown or something, and if you happen to do well, that's the end of your Formula One. You can kiss your Formula One career goodbye, because there's another option there now, and that's what happened to Jason Bright. He came back, he raced at Sandown, did it amazing, and everybody said, "Hey, stay," and it was like the money was. I mean, even to Thomas Randall, our mate Thomas Randall, and by the way, thank you, Thomas, for your message of appreciation, all the rest of it. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Tom. Didn't even. Yep.
But as I said, you get that, they get that far, and they're just that far, they're ready to take the next step, and suddenly, they just don't have the money, and somebody here sort of turns around and says, "Oh, by the way, do you want to drive a supercar?" And it's like, well, yeah, I can make a good career out of that, and it's certainty. And like the late great Alan Simonson always used to say, I'd really love a supercar driver. And I said, "Why? Are you crazy?" And he went, "It's secure. It's in one country. I could move out here. I could move the family out here. I could stay out here. It was just it's got lots. It's steady work."
I'll just mention one other person's name who did very well at Macau a couple of weeks ago, and similar wanted that similar scenario for a couple of years, and he did it over here, and he did it in supercars, and he's gone back and he's racing GT racing again, and as good as he ever was, That's Maro Engel.
Wow. There might be some people at Macau who disagree with that.
on his driving skills.
Well, certainly his tactics.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with his skills. I mean, it was a great drive. I mean, in terms of, and he won, so well done him. But
I'm right there anyway. Oh, very good.
But anyway, I'll just say, just to let you know, Jared, the deal is actually with Ferrari for until the end. So they're going to run the Ferrari engine until the Cadillac unit is ready. Now, just a quick changing this something that's gone over my head completely, and normally we get like really good PR from this, so I'm not sure what's gone on this year. I know for a fact we've been taken off media lists already. I've been told by one person already that as you're not on Channel 31 anymore, you're no longer we no longer consider you media, so we don't count YouTube stuff.
Yeah, fax machine's gone dead already, has it, Brett? You don't
very much. You
don't need to put paper in the bottom of the tray anymore because your fax machine is not spitting out paper all over the room anymore.
No, the telegrams aren't coming anymore or anything. But one thing that is coming up this week, which I'd basically forgotten, we'd had and as you know, Doc, we had a really good relationship in terms of with this stuff. The AUSX Supercross at Marvel, the Australian Supercross Championship at Marvel Stadium Saturday. And that was really successful. And it's also caused some controversy because the AFLW Grand Final on the weekend at the ground formerly known as Princes Park had sold out in record time, and everyone said, well, why don't they play it at Marvel? And it's like, well, they can't because there's this Supercross, and of course all the football like, well, it's a football ground, they're destroying it for these hoons on but it's been very successful. There's
been a various plethora of hoons have destroyed Marvel Stadium, including musical singers, people that are in the entertainment industry for decades that have been destroying Marvel Stadium, let alone a little bit of dirt and sand. So
there was a lot more damage caused by the Barbara Streisand concert. That was pretty much anything.
Just before we run away and forget, I know we're not short on time tonight, but I just want to throw out while we're on the pinnacle of motorsport in the world, and four wheels is also the two. And I don't know if you had it in your ticker last week, but it was announced more than a week ago. The CEO of motorsport for Suzuki, I'm not sure if he did, has on record been quoted in the last week or two, Suzuki is coming back to MotoGP. He has not put a timeline on it. He has not put any details on it. However, it was very controversial when they pulled out a few years ago. They won a world championship. We won't go into all that, but he has said Suzuki is going to come back. Doesn't know what year, doesn't know what rules, doesn't know under what banner, but Suzuki is definitely coming back, which is great.
Well, you'd have to think that 27 is what we do have in the ticker is Mark Marquez saying, look, I can't wait till 27. 27. He's just saying that he said the racing will be better, the bikes will be more challenging to ride. Everything about this is 27 and the new regulations I like, and most of the riders agree with him. And it may well be the time that with Suzuki winding back some of the technology, that Suzuki sort of say, okay, well, we've got a new set of rules now. We've got the 800cc engine, where there's not this reliance on traction control and launch control and aerodynamics. It goes back to basically, old-fashioned bike racing. That might be a pretty good time for them to sort of say, okay, now we're coming back.
With the relative newcomer a few years ago, KTM joining, Aprilia got back into the dance, and also Ducati's been dominating forever now when they got a lot of dispensation and compensation. To have the four big Japanese guns out there again, so with two of them, with obviously Yamaha and Honda aren't sitting on their hands and still developing and still want to be there. Suzuki joins. All it needs is, hopefully the right people in the right places with the right incentive. The Quackers, it'd be great to see the Great Four Japanese back into it, because Kawasaki have done really well in the World Superbikes for many years, on and off, with the right riders and the right bikes at the right time. They haven't dominated. There's been Ducatis, obviously, they've all had their 2 or 3 of them had a bit of fun in it. It hasn't been like Ducati dominating MotoGP, but yeah, if Suzuki, there's 3 guns, all it needs is Kawasaki to go, right, we can't have those 3 all bloody out there on, doing it well and out on the big stage. Not that they care about their bikes as much. They more worry about their shipping containers going around the world on their boats, what makes more money than their bikes do. But it'd be great to see the green machines back there.
Yeah, okay. So let's move on, because we are okay, Mark.
Oh, I just wanted to get Doc's thoughts on what's happening with the orange machines.
The KTM.
Yes, KTM is. I don't know if you might not have seen
future?
you might not have seen the thing. They have filed for administration, the company. So
in Australia or worldwide?
Worldwide.
Globally, yeah.
Globally, yeah.
No, sorry, Jones, you haven't seen that yet. Thank you. You can enlighten us if you
popped up this afternoon, late this afternoon, that they have. They're the other one that's come out is Nissan are in big trouble too. Nissan have said, because basically Renault are pulling the plug. They want to sell their share of Nissan, and the head of Nissan has already said, he's been very blunt and said, we've got 12 months to turn the ship around, otherwise Nissan's gone. So, that's some big news. Yeah, that's there's so many. It's such a tough market now. It's such a tough market out there, and it's and because there's all these cheap SUVs out there, all these electric cars from people. You follow things on the road, and you go, what the hell is that? And it's some Chinese thing you've never.
I do that for 8-9 hours a day every day.
Yeah, well, you'd see them.
What are they trying to do?
As they drive around all day, you'd see them.
My younger brother's just bought a BYD, and he was keen to point out actually that the stylist on the car was ex-Porsche.
It certainly looks export. You can see the Porsche influence big time in those, but they are a nice looking car. I mean, I've followed a few of them. I think, and as that style of car goes, they're a very attractive. Car.
Seal, Jonesy, Seal.
Sorry,
the Seal. The BYD. What one is it? They have names.
Oh no! Of course. Sorry. No, I don't actually remember, to be honest.
Okay.
I only saw the car for about 3 minutes.
I see a lot of the BYD Seals out there. That's all. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There's
sorry.
A few of them. There's a lot of them getting around. I see a lot of them at the a lot of them in the car park at both Fountain Gate and up at Hampton Park. And Roval was full. I was at the doctor's on Monday up at my regular doctor up at Stud Park, and the car park was there. It's so because it's that sort of area. There was so many electric cars in the car park.
That's good, because that means all these people won't be coming out to the country.
Yeah, well, you want to have the generator ready.
Yes.
Just, put up a sign on the side of
Yeah.
That's right. We'll recharge your EV for food.
It's called Uber
free charging. We just give me $100 and I'll recharge your car.
I was about to say Uber Rich's recharging stations. instead of Jim's face out there, there'll be Richard's face on the side of generators all over the countryside.
Yes, I like that.
40-volt cords running across the roads everywhere.
Won't be Richard the handyman, it'll be Richard the generator man. Hey, listen, just
Tricky Dick's box of tricks.
Box of tricks. Oh, yeah, I like that. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Very good, because we've got 10 minutes to go. Richard, you did something on the weekend. What did you do, and where did you do it?
I went to the Bathurst Challenge with my little XL. It went quicker, 4 seconds quicker, which is nice, which kept me down to 3:04. But it's good on one thing. That would have got me halfway up the grid at least 3 years ago. Now I think it's about the slowest time that the XLs are doing. Some of the young kids are going down to 2 minutes 52. I'm going, how the hell do you do that? I mean,
especially in an XL.
Yeah, exactly. What? They're not braking anywhere? Or they're tied to a string? And someone's whirling them around? Because, damn, that's fast for an XL.
When you have a look at
a 304 would have qualified you on the second row of the grid at the 1967 Bathurst 500.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you would have been parked in between the two Alec Mildren Alfa Romeo GTVs of Kevin Bartlett and Doug Givers.
And they were stock standard cars running on, stock standard tyres, and it shows you how the technology
XAS Michelins.
I think we're missing the point here. Richard, how was your experience?
It was good. It's surprising how much quicker I got by having a decent simulator. And if I can throw a motor towards Tim Rouse and tell him to sweeten it up, I'd go a lot quicker than that too.
You had some fun, great weekends, the whole works. Yeah, the
didn't hit anything.
Fantastic.
A few people hit things, but not many this year. They at least confined it all to the one session.
Did you kiss Skyline yourself, or did you give that a miss?
No, I gave it a miss, but not somebody else didn't. I think it was a Toyota 86 was
86 signed its name on it.
Yes, yeah, not heavily, but enough. And then someone went amiss in the kink coming down into the chase, and I think only his dry cleaner would have known how scared he was.
And I want your pub Palmer review for Saturday night. Where did you go, and what did you eat?
I was at the Hallows, so it's a long drive from there to any pub. So I was, and I wanted.
Well, your
to
XL's 4 seconds quicker now. If your XL's 4 seconds quicker, you could have got the town in and out bloody in no time. What do you want to excuse?
Yeah,
you track to town. They have a track to town. You could have just staged your own. Hey, listen, I'm a couple of days. Sorry, officer, I'm a couple of days late for track to town, but I didn't want to miss the experience.
Yes.
Can I get you something while I'm out there?
So you didn't
having to.
What? Say again, Doc.
You didn't eat out. You didn't do much time.
No, I ate in because I was watching the Grand Prix on Saturday night.
Good point.
Of course you were.
Yes, it was. And I must say, one of the good takeaway moments from the Las Vegas was at the end, at the wind down lap, when all the cars were spread out, just coming down to the start finish line, cruising along. It was a great shot. The colours, the lights on them glinting. I go, whoa, that's a winning photo for next year's promotion.
Very good.
And I don't understand.
I must admit, I said this. I think I said this to Pete on Tuesday night. I've always in terms of going to America, I always said that I've never had a huge demand. There's things I want to do in America. There's things like I'd like to go to an NHRA meeting. I would like to, obviously, would like to go to see a NASCAR round and perhaps even an IndyCar race. Not the Indy 500 so much, but certainly something on a small
Road America.
Road America would be great. Mid Ohio, they want something like that. That would be awesome. Or either way, certainly the PRI show is a major. Or the other thing, a non-motorsport thing, is what's called the NAB show, which is the National Association of Broadcasters. I'd like to do that, and that's in Las Vegas. But they're the two. New York. I've always said to Melissa, New York and Las Vegas were the two places that I would really like to see in America. And having a look at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, I'm not sure that I want to go to Las Vegas anymore. It looks as... I know it's supposed to be tacky, but it looked just so tacky and so...
It looked like Blade Runner before Blade Runner went to track.
Quick one, Brett, before we leave Bathurst. Declan, how did he end up, guys? At Adelaide? 6 hour, wasn't it? Declan Kirkham was over there, wasn't he, Brett?
Oh yeah, yes, for the I forget what I think he did fairly well, but I didn't really catch up with all of the
Adelaide stuff.
with all of the news, with all the Adelaide stuff. I mean, it was such a ridiculously busy weekend last week. I mean, because we were obviously down at Geelong, and unfortunately we didn't get down to Phillip Island. I suppose now's as good a time as any to once again pass on our condolences to the friends and family of Andrew Rhodes Anderson, who tragically
and
passed away. And
all the people associated with him in Pakenham as well too.
Yeah, sort of. He was very well known around this area here, and the Pakenham Tyre and Auto out there, and he helped out a lot of people in this area, and obviously with the improved production. And there's just something. It's almost like if it's a race crash, if somebody's sort of pushing it too hard and they put it into a wall and it's a crash, it's almost like, well, it's almost like it goes with the territory. It's still terrible, but it's almost like, well, it does go with the territory sometimes, unfortunately. But this is just like the Denny Holmes stuff. It was just, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a crash. It was just an unexpected medical thing. And obviously, there will obviously be a coroner's inquest into what is exactly what has happened in terms of there. But he did spin earlier. He spun earlier in the race and got going again, and then pulled up to the side of the track very soon afterwards. And once again, a special thought, of course, to the marshals who had to deal with that as well. I know that a lot of them would be very sad. It was one of the reasons, apart from the fact that I was as sick as a dog from all the heat, and who knows, that's one of the things, I mean, that I suppose people are going to look at in terms of what caused it, is the fact that it was in the mid-30s. I mean, even down at Phillip Island, apparently it was 34. So it was pretty damn hot. It was very humid. So, and it must have been sort of, for people who are not professional, sort of athletes, professional racing drivers, and young and fit and all the rest of it, running around in that heat wouldn't have been easy.
Just remind me of something.
Very hot,
Brett.
Believe me.
Just changing the subject to go slightly, because we'll try and move on to something a little bit more positive. Just reminded me, we were talking about the super stuff at the start. Did you see Mr. Quinn, who owns a good share of Triple Eight Racing as well too, has just bought himself a GT for Supra that's going to be racing coming up in the
future. Well, as we said before, GT.
Anyway.
GT4, but anyway, but that's
and a Camaro production car as well, I think.
Well, he's had
that,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. So yes, unfortunately, with Andrew Rhodes, and that was unfortunately not the only passing in the sport of motorsport. Mark has put up there, RIP John Keane. Now, John was involved in sort of behind the scenes, involved in the early days of fitting, as he said, engineered sort of HR front end. This was a very, very popular thing to do back in the late 60s and early 70s. Putting HR front ends with the disc brakes and all that into early model Holdens. I mean, everybody with it raced an FJ or an FB or something like that, and put lots of people on the road. That was the big deal. It was putting dropping an HR front end into a Holden, and apparently John. Then, as he said, we've lost a.
Not just not early Holdens, Brett. A lot of Roadsters also they converted them into those because they were innovative at the time. So yeah, Roadsters.
Yeah. So once again, our respect to the and our condolences to the friends and family of John Keane.
Just now, before you wrap it up, Brett, can you also recommend, I don't know if you can bring it up yourself if you wanted to through what we're on now. Just that 2-minute tribute they did for the show for you last night.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, actually, I'm going to put up because Jason has sent me a slightly extended version because we had to keep it really short. I managed to squeeze it in and it was right. It didn't go to air on live on the live recording on Tuesday night, but it did go to air on Channel 31 last night, and Channel 31 themselves released it separately onto their social media pages.
And Jason's
yesterday.
also released it himself this afternoon on his own social media.
Oh, okay. So he might have put up the thing, but I'll put it up as well because it has a few extra bits and pieces that particularly Richard would remember, going back to the earliest days of the show. And as I said, he did a great job, and it was was very emotional, sort of looking at it. I mean, it brought
so to give everyone a little bit of background, I'll keep it
memories.
short. Last week I had an idea. I pitched it to Jason first. I said, "Can you give me 30 seconds to a minute of something?" He said, "Yeah, okay." When he gave me the okay, he said he would do it. I then went to Brett and said, "I've got Jason, who is our guru at doing this stuff, because he's even done the advertisements for us on Channel 31. Will you let Jason do that? Because I've got this idea." And he said, "Yeah, all right." And I said, if it's as good as what I think he'll probably provide, put it onto the show. And Brett said, "Yep, do it." So anyway, I said 30 seconds to a minute. He come back a week later and said, "Sorry, Doc, I can't do a minute for you. I've had to do it. I cannot do it justice." So it was about 2 minutes, plus the extended version was a little bit longer. So big shout out to Jason.
He's really rated.
Big shout out.
And the thing that he did, which I'd forgotten, because at the end of it, I mean, you'll hear some things I say about the program, and I was trying to figure out where the hell has he got this from. And what I forgot is a few years ago, I think either just before or just after COVID, or I think it was probably just after COVID, I forgot that I had sat down with Jason's sister, our director now, Vanessa, for one of her university projects, which was to interview somebody, and I sat down and did an interview before I even knew Vanessa. So I sat down with an interview with her, and that's when he went back and got those grabs, the sound grabs, the audio stuff from Vanessa's interview as
so
well.
Big shout out to everyone on the team throughout this year, all the years gone by. Richard, you've worked with him and done a lot of stuff, and we've reminisced a lot. But a big shout out to everyone. It was a sad but glorious occasion on Tuesday night.
And I must say, thank you with the GoFundMe. Thank you for the support of that. We had so many people, and I was unaware. I mean, I went in there because it just sort of things took off a little bit quickly again, because I went in, and as far as I knew, I went and said, "Look, we're not even halfway there yet." So I said, "But we've got, we've got a good, it'll be a good night." And then and Louis, one of our crew members, turned around and said, "Well, it's $1,500 now. It's almost $1,500."
And then we were on a get together later, and I brought up on my phone, and I put it up in front of everyone at Brett's face, and I said 1,600, and you should have seen the look on Brett's face then. He goes, "What?"
Yeah.
I went, "Yeah, but yeah." So really, thank you to everyone that else has contributed,
Now,
whether
the other
financially
thing is,
or just in the comments.
One of the things we will do with that, I mean, obviously the main point of it is to go to the wrap party, and that's where most of it. But also, we will use some of it basically to allow us to keep doing it, because the software that we use to do this is a subscription thing. We pay for it every year. They have just doubled the price of there, and it's I got a bill on Wednesday for. It looked okay. It was like it's like $299, and I went, "Oh, that's not, they put it up that much."
Brett, you were just
this is
telling us
American dollars.
Before the start, before we went to the air, Brett, you actually tried a new little format. You do show people what will happen to us if we don't pay for the format. Just give them a quick laugh.
Like
hit the button.
This is the reason. This is the reason why they have doubled the price, because they have used many hours and days and months of technology has gone into and scientists and all that to do something incredibly radical that is going to blow your minds right now, and there it is. Yeah, I mean isn't it? That's fantastic. If we had one more person, we'd almost have 6.
Don't put them through any more of it.
So there you go. So we can. So if you're not wanting, so you can. Yes, we're in circles now, so we can do all sorts of. We can do all sorts of things.
We can everyone. We're playing Connect 4. Oh, sorry.
We've also suddenly gone to being blue all of a sudden. I'm not sure what happened there. So
We've done really well.
We've gone from yellow to blue. It's done that by
Blue's
itself.
okay. Good change.
Blue's okay, but it doesn't fit in with full course yellow. It's full course blue, which is interesting. hey, thank you everybody for once again for your support. As I said, like in terms of In Pit Lane, the brand. If you like to call it that, we will be doing stuff. The thing is, we just simply can't. We can't afford the time and the money to keep doing the studio show. It costs us. In real terms, this year we've pumped in around $10,000 into producing the program. And people are sort of unaware of that, but it's that's not just me and Doc and all of the crew, but it's also RMI TV, Student Television, and particularly the university, who donate a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money to keep that. They put on. They basically pay for staff to be in there, technical staff. Luke, James, Matt, and Nico. They're always in there. They pay for them to come in, so they're not the volunteers. They actually get paid for it. They're rostered on just for us. So thank you to RMIT University. Thank you to RMI TV for all your assistance over the years, and hopefully we'll be able to do more with you in the future. But as I said, it won't be In Pit Lane, but you'll be seeing other stuff coming up very soon. Hey, listen, everybody, let's get out of here. We're way over once again. We'll catch you all next week for I think how many rounds have we got, Pete, in Formula One? Two. Yeah, so we've got a couple. So we've got at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, but we won't be here on the 19th because at the 19th we'll be debriefing.
Well, that debriefing, we usually do a 1 or 2 minute quick live stream when it's earlier on when we're fathomable. I think.
I'm not sure whether we'll be having any live streams from this one.
We've done it in the past. I might I might put the phone on. I might do it.
Anyway, thanks for joining.
I might turn up here and just be on my own.
Well, yes. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, In Pit Lane proudly presents the Mark Jones Show.
Yes. Mark and I, we can just do it from.
Yeah, well, if you want to, I mean, I've got no problem. I can.
Please send all email requests, whether it's blue or yellow, to Mark Jones and Richard out.
But me, Pete, and Doc, and I mean particularly me and Pete, I remember there is not a hope in hell that you're going to get us in here on that night. I think I speak for you as well, Peter, don't I?
I have got the dentist next day, so I don't know how numb I'm going to be in one way or shape or form.
You'll be numb.
Comfortably numb.
Yeah, comfortably numb.
Yes, thank you. I was looking for that.
Okay, everyone, we'll see you.
Does that mean we're going to turn pink now?
Yes,
Pink Floyd, yeah, gotcha.
We'll see. I don't know whether we do pink on the thing. Actually.
It's the cricket. There you go. The pink. It's not the pink test. It's the pink in pit lane.
Pink in pit lane. In pink lane.
Well,
shout out to Nick Mason, the great motorsport fan that he is.
Yes, and Nick Mason, who I stood and talked with at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, all about wonderful Ferraris. I thought, I know that guy. And then they went, and coming to the start line now is Nick Mason. All
right, we'll let everyone go so they can watch the montage. All right.
Okay, everyone, we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.
Have a great weekend.